Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Central Ontario. Big day for me today because I've got another addition to the fleet. Why don't you grab a coffee, and love for you to stick around and let me show you what I've got for the tractor. Cheers. So hey, thanks very much for joining me. Welcome back. You've probably seen the last few videos, you've noticed that I've been using the root rake and the tractor with the grapple to try to start ripping some boulders and rocks out of the front lawn. Because for years I've been constantly mowing the front lawn and I have to keep lifting and lowering the deck. And some of those boulders are huge, as you've probably seen, and I've taken a lot of them out. But there's still some left, but I'll get that done in time, but I got most of the biggest ones out. The grass in the background of many of my videos, you probably notice, keeps getting higher and higher, and I haven't cut it yet. And the reason why is because I had a lawn tractor, which you may have seen in the shed in previous videos, and I was fortunate enough to be able to sell that because now that I have a B2601, there are a number of different options I can use, whether it's with a mid PTO or the rear PTO, to start cutting the grass, which means I don't have to maintain two sets of equipment or pieces of equipment. I can use the tractor to do everything. So I was able to sell that piece of equipment. And I had my choice of, whether it's a belly mower or a finish mower or a flail mower or a rotary mower. There was a number of different options. So what I'd like to do is tell you what I bought, show you what I bought, why I bought it, and then we're going to try it out and we're going to start getting this grass cut and start making the place look a little nicer. Alright, so stick around with me and let's see what we got. Cheers. So I did a lot of my research on this. As you can see, I bought a rear finish mower for the back PTO 3-point hitch. And first, I just want to tell you why I didn't buy one of the other three types. Didn't buy a rotary cutter because I don't need it, because I'm not using it for back in the bush. I'm using it to finish my lawn. And I've got about 3/4 to an acre of front lawn against the lake, and I like to keep that trimmed and nice. I did not use the flail mower because the flail mower has a lot of different knives. I think you can get between 20 and 90 knives on a flail mower. And I didn't think I wanted that type of maintenance, and I didn't think I really needed it, to be honest. I chose not to get the belly mower because I've got a lot of areas where I've got underbrush or trees coming out, and the belly mower was harder to put on, although it's it's super simple overall. It's harder to get under, drive over, try to attach it from under the tractor, and it also forces me to drive the tractor where I want to mow. And so where I ended up with is the 3-point hitch finish mower for the back of the tractor, because this will allow me to pull it behind me. It will also allow me to back up into areas where I've got a lot of overgrowth, or into different areas or corners of the land where I wouldn't otherwise be able to get in with the tractor and a belly mower. Or one of the most important things that I liked about it was the fact that, so you know, I don't have any flat land here. Everything is uneven terrain, bumpy, hilly. It's got a lot of slopes and divots, and the nice thing about the rear mower is that this thing will float on the 3-point hitch and manage the contours of the land, I think, much better than the belly mower. So that's why I chose the rear finish mower. I'm not saying it's the right thing for you and your application, but based on my research on the 4 different models I looked at and narrowed down to, I think this was the best choice for this tractor and for what my needs are here. But let's take a look at this finish mower, and I'll tell you why I bought it and some of the features of it. So, notwithstanding some of the other brands I looked at, what I liked about the LandPride is that these are hard rubber wheels, and you'll notice that unlike some of the other brands, it's not all rim with a little bit of rubber. It's a lot of rubber. There's probably a good 1.5 inches or so of rubber here on the rim. Your spindles and so many other places on the back of this machine all have zerks and are greasable, so you can keep it well maintained and well looked after. The spindles for the wheels actually have clevis pins, so you can easily take them off and adjust the height. You've got a large height adjustment here. You can go from 3/4 of an inch cut to 5¼ inch cut. And especially in an area like this where I've got a lot of terrain, I need to have a reasonable height so that I can get over some of the mounds without chafing the grass or hitting a rock. And it's very easy. You've got 4 1-inch spacers and 1/2 inch spacer on every single wheel. The spindles also have nylon bushings on the top and the bottom of each one, so you're going to get less wear on the actual spindle axle itself. The unit has covers over the pulleys for the blades, And what I like about it is this is basically a tool-free operation, right? You unscrew two handles and you can pull the tops off and you can get down below to where your pulley is, as well as where your spring is, your tensioner spring and your tension wheels. Again, even smart enough that they thought about putting rubber grommets in over top of where you need to grease on the bearings on your pulleys. Decking on this unit is 3/16 of an inch plate steel. The nice thing I liked about it is it did not have a side discharge. It had a rear discharge, but more importantly, on some models you'll notice that it tapers on the back and your rear discharge almost sends it out the middle, whereas on this unit the rear discharge goes right from one end to the other, so it's shooting the grass out as you cut it right across the outside. So hopefully that should minimize any windrows or areas where you've got grass lining up behind you as you cut. The chassis and the frame, really impressed. You've got 5/16 steel here on these clevis brackets, and again, as you know, I don't like brackets that have pins already built in. It's difficult to hook up to the tractor. But these have very thick 5/16 steel clevis brackets. The framing itself is 1/2 inch steel, and both, not only the top, but both of the bottom brackets also float, so that when you're running over terrain like I have here, the unit itself will be able to flow with the land as opposed to get pulled up or, you know, be stuck in an odd position with the tractor. The unit itself is 577 pounds, which means it should ride really nicely and take to the contours of the land. And as well, it has 3 blades underneath it, cutting with, I think, 1.5 inch overlap on those blades. The Pto shaft that came with it, which is really nice, has the quick connect attachment on both ends of the Pto shaft, which is really nice. It's just that simple sleeve that you pull back and you slide in and the ball bearings lock in really easily. So that was a great feature as well. And a handy feature which I didn't find on most of the other models is it comes with a Pto shaft hook. So when you're done with it and you detach it from the tractor, instead of like a lot of implements you leave the Pto driveline laying on the ground, this thing comes with a spring-loaded hook to bring it out and it pulls the Pto off the ground and keeps it out of the rubble. So I think overall out of the 4 models, this is the right one for me. So today we're going to take this thing to task. We're going to give it a whirl for the first time on the tractor. This is also the first time that I'm using the rear Pto on this tractor because I've never had an implement before that uses it. Because I've left the grass so long and this is a finish mower, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this deck up as high as I can, and I'm going to take a pass at it with a high height to try to knock down some of the tall grass. And then I'll probably go back over it again at a lower height because I usually like to cut around 3.5 to 4 inches here just to give it the grass some health and to make sure in dry times when we don't get a lot of rain it doesn't die out too quick or start turning brown. So stick around with me. Let's get this thing fired up and let's take her out and see how she works. All right.
midday moon. You shine like a midday moon. You shine like a midday moon. As a
Hey, well, thanks for sticking around. I've got a lot more grass to cut. I can hear the thunder and the rain's going to be rolling in again. But I hope that gave you a little idea of how the finish mower on the rear works, what it looks like, and some of the points about it. As you can see from the ground, it really follows the terrain really nicely and gives you a nice even cut throughout. And I think it's because of the wheelbase, I guess, between the two wheels and the ability of the mower deck to follow the landscape. So I'm pretty happy with it. I've got lots more to do. Thanks so much for sticking around. I hope it was helpful. If you like my channel, please hit subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to know when I'm posting videos, just click that little bell. Have a wonderful week. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you again. Cheers.